Okay, great. And I am, let's see, they can hear me. Can you talk?
I can't hear you. Can you
And
hear me?
I am a little bit lower than you. Yes, you sound good.
Okay.
Did you get a new mic?
I bought a new mic.
Whoa, fancy.
Yeah.
It sounds fancy.
I fucked myself by buying an arm too.
You got it. Okay, yeah. You gotta have the arm.
Now I'm
Especially...
hunching down on this.
Oh, you didn't get an arm.
I did not get
Oh,
an arm.
you fucked yourself. I see.
Yeah, I fucked myself. Sorry. Yeah. But I don't know. Sounds cool.
Oh, yeah, it sounds great.
Can chat hear us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
Hey, chat, it's my birthday, chat.
It's your birthday?
What you gonna give me? Yeah.
I literally have something sitting for you right here.
Happy birthday, Christian!
You got to help me figure out how to ship to you.
Why are you showing me? Why are you showing me your dick? That's not funny.
It's right here,
on top of the table. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
He sounds so good, right? It's weird. Chat likes it.
What?
Okay. Let's see.
Thank you, chat.
What is the topic? What Nintendo world would you choose? Oh no.
Yeah, just like I didn't think about this at all.
I saw some people answering. I was trying to remember what the topic was. I was trying to reverse engineer what the topic was. Oh, Mike's camera is funky.
Yeah. 1 second. So I was mildly messing around with it.
Are you shrouded in darkness now?
Apparently.
You can.
Yeah, I'm going into.
Go to.
He walked to the end of Final Fantasy 14. He's the end walker.
If you had NVIDIA Broadcast, you could just adjust it from there. But oh well.
Do they give you? Do you get a kick every time you say NVIDIA Broadcast? What's going on?
Hey, I cannot talk about that. I'm NDA'd on any agreements. No, of course not. I just really like NVIDIA Broadcast, and I think it would make the show look even better. But you know, what can you do with these kids?
See, Jeff, you know what has happened was I saw something like how to get my frame rate up. And
60. I knew. Trust me, I know. As soon as I saw it, I knew what happened here.
Okay, I turned on auto exposure, then turn it back off. Let's see if it just set it to a correct thing now. No, I have to keep it on.
No, I mean, no. Go to your other. Wait, what app are you using to control stuff?
What else would I use?
Right. Well, there is like a Windows-based thing, but I'm not sure. I can't remember how to get to it from Razer Synapse. Hang on, let me see here. Synapse.
We're dealing with some technical difficulties here, chat. So,
do you see the advanced settings button?
Yes.
Click that.
I did. That's where.
And then you should be able to. So you can like turn the exposure. You set it manually so it looks pretty good, but it doesn't have to be like fully dark. And then go back to the other menu in that advanced settings and look for gain and turn up your gain. I think it's called gain.
Turn up your game, brother.
There's no gain. There's brightness, contrast, saturation, white balance.
And then the bottom thing is like grayed out or something. There's no gain there.
Gain.
No. Advanced settings. There's a button.
I thought. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. So you want me to boost my gain?
I want you to boost your gain.
Yeah, boost it all the way up,
I want you to get those hot gains.
Oh shit! It's gonna.
No, that looks terrible.
Ooh. It's just now you could like either turn down the gain or turn down the exposure a little bit. The exposure is you want to turn down like because the exposure is like I think how frequently the thing opens, the shutter opens, so it doesn't work well if it's set to a low number with a high frame rate.
We're mic checking.
Yeah, this is called the mic check section for a reason.
We're camera checking, yeah.
Jeff is a NERD. I don't know what that means.
You gotta play around with your knobs, Mike.
Visualizer can't get Jeff's Grubb out of his head after last week's chat, after the super chat from last week. I've literally been called that my entire life. It's not new.
No, Jeff's devastated. Don't listen. See hear how bothered he is by it as he's talking now.
I'm trying to think. What is I was Jeff's Grubb, but I in drafting class. That looks pretty good, Mike. In drafting class,
I mean, it's not. Sorry.
It's probably because your exposure's either okay. So I mean, I'd have to like look at some of your settings and stuff.
Yeah, there's no difference, anyways.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't want you to have to mess with it for an hour.
Looks okay.
in drafting class, I sat under a sign that said Buster Station, and this was in the late '90s when Buster apparently was like an insult. And instead of calling me Jeff Scrub, the guy called me Buster, and just he was so proud of himself. And I'm like, he laughed and laughed. I'm like, I don't get it. This does not hurt my feelings because I don't understand what a Buster is. So,
just turn your camera on so I can at least. I just want to compare it to yours. I'm not going to. Turn
yeah. Uno momento.
Nailed it.
Let's go. Let's do that, and then let's move it here, and then move you here, and then let me turn my other light on. Hang on.
Man. Oh, man. I think that's good enough for our audience.
Listen, I could just turn the whole show back to 30 frames per second if it's that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
Hell, fuck
it's
yeah.
Not a big deal, but I just
it's cinematic, bro.
Mostly I can get 60 frames per second. I just don't know why I don't. One second, I'm turning my camera off because now I feel like I look.
We gotta be as slow as the lowest person.
Take your time. It's all right. Yummy.
Buster Grubb.
Yeah, Buster. Yeah.
More button thingy.
Camera. You have to hit the deactivate button in. Well, no, you're not using OBS. Why am I bothering you with this?
Oh, bother.
Yeah, don't bother.
I'm gonna hit a button. It's gonna mess it up. Actually, let's use camera. There we go.
Back in the day, you used to turn on your camera on Discord. You don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I could virtual stream it if you know, but Mike never looks at it. He just watches the YouTube thing. So
yeah,
that's true.
Well, I gotta keep it real with the chat, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff.
That's right.
I don't know why I say it like that, but I like to Jeff accusingly.
Yeah, Jeff. Jeffrey.
Shirt's so wrinkly.
My name is Chef or El Jefe.
Razer Synapse doesn't even have like the option here for me to to set it to 60 frames per second.
Don't do that. It's fine.
Okay, I'm curious. All right.
Why is Razer Synapse such a shitty piece of software?
Yeah.
You know what does bother me? This is probably because I'm not using the actual light on my camera. It's like if I look at a dark tab, there is a significant difference.
Yeah.
Look at this. Like here's that.
Yeah, I know. The lighting from your computer is like the primary source according to your camera. It's weird.
So yeah. If I go to Stream Elements, which is all black, when I read things, it gets very upset at me.
Yep. All right. We can get you a ring light if you want. Big old ring light.
Ring light on my camera.
Yeah.
Just use it.
It's just not. It's not very good. I mean, it's just kind of like it's only okay.
You need one of those good ones.
That's why I don't like that.
All right, let me check audio levels for Mike. Mike, go ahead and talk like you're going to talk on the podcast.
If I asked, what would you do if I asked you to lower my face on the stream?
Can I higher my face?
Yeah, don't nerf your height, buff the other height.
You know what would help is if I could look at Stream Elements in a white background instead of everyone's all night mode obsessed these days. So I got people who get mad at me that I don't use night mode. But
why won't you use night mode?
You know?
I mean, why does everyone care so much if I use night mode or not? That's my question.
Because this is a religion.
Yeah.
The nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right time.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't use it's baffling to me because every time I turn on the light mode, I go blind for 3 days.
Everything darker because I also have never needed sunglasses in my life, so I don't know.
Oh, maybe you have built-in UV protection on your eyes. That's why.
These aren't sunglasses. They're actually an audio device. They can conduct music into my ears.
Well, I don't.
Because I'm very cool.
Yeah, look. Everyone's so mad that I don't use night mode. It's insane. Everyone gets so upset about it.
I know, but you got mad at me for wearing sunglasses because you're like, I don't need sunglasses. So you might just be like the reverse vampire.
I had to wear sunglasses.
Well, that was just me letting you know that I'm a better person than you.
Yeah. Well, I think you might. Yeah, I think you might just be the daywalker, and it's weird.
Yeah.
With the tweet. Sweet.
You ran the bold
I tweeted.
picture.
I think I'm good to go.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's test this audio. Thanks, man. Have a good one, Christian. You sound great. You sound wonderful.
Thank you.
Chad, did you hear that?
I heard it.
You heard it. All right.
what would you do if I pwn? So that guy who did the Halo song that makes me laugh, you know, they see me pwning and Halo. He also did one on that. It's on that, you know, Beatles / Wonder Year song. What would you do if I pwned all the news?
Okay. Did he say pwned this time, or is it owned again?
He said pwn. He uses them interchangeably, which is the correct way, but which means that we can also use them interchangeably. Look at all these super chats. Thank you, guys.
Let's get started. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. Here it is. I got that open. I'm probably going to ask you about. Well, we should actually probably talk about Indie World first. I was going to ask you about the Analogue Pocket right away. Maybe we'll talk about Indie World. Maybe we'll do it at the end of news. I'll ask you about the.
Okay, sounds good. Actually, hang on. Let me have one of these bad boys.
Oh baby, I really pwn at Halo. I really pwn at Halo 2.
Yeah, send me the link for that. I'm gonna add that to the soundboard here. Okay, I'm ready. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Counting down. I'm hitting the record button.
Or anything else? I'm not going to get any woof woofs or nothing.
No, we're on this. This is going to be the perfect show.
Yeah, it's going to be pro moments here. Pro shit, dude.
Pro shit. Here we go, everybody. 5, 4, 3.
I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs. I literally said I wasn't going to forget the woof woofs. Don't forget them. Woof woof. Today's show, we are going to speculate about tomorrow's Indie World Showcase. We got some NPD numbers to talk about. Jeff has played the Analogue Pocket, and we're going to talk about the Nintendo worlds we would want to live in. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm recovered from another long Sunday of reviewing something. This time it was the Analogue Pocket. It was, it's fun to get these things early. It is still a lot of work though. But that thing is pretty cool. We'll talk about it pretty soon. But yeah, mostly I'm recovered. I'm doing good. I'm ready to get some work done today.
I watched your video. You went hard on the editing this time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know what it is? It's like I always like put my video up, and I'm like, I always just kind of want to get the point across and stuff. That's where the whole like it's the internet. You're busy. Let's get started. It's like I'm not going to use intro music. That's for people who try hard.
That's for tryhards, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And but I now it's just the same because I did use intro music and stuff, and I was like thinking about like what my life in gaming is going to do, and there's no way I'm going to spend as much time on this as they do. That's like their full-time job to make like the video for it and stuff. But like you get that in your head, and you're like, oh, I at least want to like appear like I'm trying some, even if not trying hard. But yeah, it was fun to put that video together. And I think it was like more important than the written review, which is just like, here's what I like about it, but I like it. Like, I just kind of like everything. It's really good. Sure. You need to kind of like see it for yourself to know like what I'm talking about.
It was a good review. I actually pre-ordered my own today because of it.
Oh, I'm glad you got it. That's awesome. Yeah,
well, at first I was like, man, this thing's great, but like, I don't have that many Game Boy cartridges. Am I going to really start collecting Game Boy cartridges? And then it's like, when it was like, I was online, I noticed it was 11. I was like, well, yeah. All right. This thing will be sweet.
The unwritten thing with the Analogue Pocket, and of course we'll talk about it more in a second. I just want to get this out and then we'll keep going. Is there is going to be cores that come out for it that you could put on an SD card and then you can run ROMs off of it. Like, that'll happen. Sure. If they don't put it out, like, which they usually don't, but like someone who like works there, like usually is making that and puts it out on the internet, like on the sly. Like I did that with my Super NT and the Mega, the Mega SG or whatever. The problem with the Super NT one was you can't run anything that has like expansion chips in it. So like Yoshi's Island and Super Mario RPG didn't work, but this won't have those issues. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll be worth it. Honestly, if you have any interest in getting it, it's gonna be you're really gonna like it.
The only thing that bothered me about the review was the multiple instances in which you have to differentiate between Game Boy Color and Game Boy because they're different platforms. But
I thought you might like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it. Don't worry. Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a bit. No one ever has to specify new 3DS or DSi games, Jeff. Everyone just knows those are part of that platform. But what? Yeah,
there's like Monster Hunter fans out there that probably have to, but I don't know.
I bet they don't. I bet they don't. I bet they just for that specific interest say the new 3DS version. I bet they even say
do some Googling here.
Yeah,
I'll find something.
Yeah. Oh God. All right, Jeff. Let's get some news first, and we'll ask you a bit about the Analogue Pocket. Big thing here is that tomorrow we have an Indie World showcase. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific. This is December 15th. Jeff, one question for you. They wouldn't dare do another one of these if they didn't have Silksong news, right? I assume the reason they're doing this is because there is Silksong news.
I mean, go ahead and assume that all you want. Like, I mean,
why else would you do it at this point?
I mean, maybe a sports story. Maybe the sports story's fan time to rise up. You know, you don't know.
Sure, maybe it could be there. Sports story is not enough anymore. I'll say it. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Not enough anymore. We need Silksong, and Nintendo must want it. They must be. I don't know. Why do I do this to myself? I had that stub open again at the Game Awards. That story I have written in case they finally do announce a release date or something about it, and they never do. They never do.
I think, I mean, God, it feels like every time we do go through this and we say the same things, like, you know, there's never been, you know, a better chance for it to show up somewhere than right now. And I do like it. This is an Indie World in December. I don't know if we've gotten many of these before. Have we?
Jesse Ferguson in chat just said we did an Indie Direct on the same exact date last year.
Thank you, Jesse.
Making it feel slightly less good.
Right. Okay. So that to me, that just says this is part of their normal holiday advertising thing where they're like, hey, we have a lot of indie partners that we want to show off right before. Like, I think they know that on Christmas Day, a lot of people are going to be opening up their Switches and they want to have something there that people can look to and be like, oh, here's something that's not $60 because I want to spend some money on. I got a $20 gift card or whatever for my aunt who, you know, after my parents got me a Switch and I want to spend that on something. And so like this positions these games for that really well. That doesn't mean it's not going to show up though, but I don't know. I personally am not that hopeful still.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you are expecting? Sports story then maybe
I'm saying same thing though, where I'm just not that hopeful. I think, you know, it's going to be one of those where
Bakugan.
Yeah. Well, what is the project? No, what is it? Octagon? What is that?
Bakugan, remember?
Oh, Bakugan. Yeah, yes, Bakugan. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like that,
I mean, that's not indie, I guess. That was a partner's joke. I don't forget what the hell that was.
Right. Who could keep them straight anymore?
That was when there was like, you know, whatever those people were making a brand new game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, in a property we've never like used before or something like
that. Was it Indie Creates? Is it? Oh, yeah.
No, it was Way Forward. It was Way Forward.
I get Indie Creates and Way Forward mixed up a lot.
You know, they're both kind of making the same kind of games, so yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Silksong is the kind of thing that's just going to keep popping up, and we're going to keep saying it, just like Elden Ring. And at this point, it really is. It feels exactly the same. And so every time we say it's going to show up, it probably won't. And then when I try to think of other games that could possibly like justify something like this, I just don't know if it works that way. They might just be like, whatever we have, like whatever our partners are ready to show, we'll put it in there. So yeah.
I do know that for me personally, it now like casts a shadow over these, especially the indie specific ones. Like I'm at the point where I expect it at the proper ones, and it never happens. But for an indie one, like I'm going to spend pretty much that whole time waiting for Silksong, expecting it to show up at the end, and then I'll act all surprised and indignant when it's not, even though like I'm the asshole fool who is expecting it for no reason. We'll see. So that'll be tomorrow. You know, Jeff, we talked about the Game Awards on GamesBeat the Sides quite a bit, including everything Nintendo had. I guess my one question for you, though, is it weird? Does it mean anything that Nintendo didn't have anything to show there except that, like, one just commercial? They didn't have any announcements.
I don't think it means too much. More than anything, it probably just means that they're saving stuff for E3. Like, they're probably going to try to have another big E3 show, and there's nothing, like... We know most of what's coming next year. The only thing that I think could have shown up that didn't was Metroid Prime Remaster as like a big new surprise, right? I guess they could have that or
Xenoblade,
right?
I keep expecting to drop at some point here.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I mean,
so like Twilight Princess.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that they really do like people try to look to patterns to like figure out what Nintendo's going to do next. So when you say like, oh, they did an indie world on the same exact date last year, well, people are going to start like, look, okay, well, when did they do the next direct, and then what would make sense for that, and maybe that's how they're going to go forward. And so like whenever that happens, whether I don't know, there's usually one in like March or something. Maybe we have to wait till then to find out. But I think we'll probably get something pretty soon to give us the date for Kirby, the Xenoblade announcement, the Metroid Prime remaster announcement, and that'll be like their early year thing, and then everything else will be saved for E3, and that's when we'll really get a bunch of new announcements.
Is it fair to say that Jeff Keighley does not have as good a relationship with Doug Bowser as he did with Reggie, or does with Reggie still?
Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean that there's like it hasn't disintegrated or something. Yeah, there's no problems. It's just like obviously I think him and Reggie are friends, right? So. That's the vibe I get, and like Reggie really likes to show up and support this thing. So Doug Bowser is not in that same position yet. Real quick, did you see? I mentioned in Slack yesterday that there was going to be an Indie World this week. Did you see that, or because I wasn't sure?
I responded to you in Slack. Yeah.
Sorry, I was passed out yesterday. Like I was totally done after.
I wouldn't have seen it anyways. I'm tired of your excuses. I was up till 6 a.m. beating Endwalker last night, and look how chipper and bright I am.
Okay, yeah, but you're a monster without children, so that's like, true, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I'm riding high right now on those beating a game vibes. Like at about 2 hours here, I'm crushing hard. Yeah, and I got to stay awake though, because at right after work is the nieces and nephews doing another karate test. And I went to their first one a few months ago, and I tell you what, I am not missing that again.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were very entertained by what was happening there.
It's very good. I almost wish I could tailgate it, but I'll be working. But
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, put a bunch of wings in the back of the car. Yeah, I get you.
Yep. All right, then. So let's talk about the NPDs, though. November's came out, so this is the sales for November in the US. We got some interesting nuggets of info here. As always, for Nintendo, it doesn't count digital sales, but we do know that the Switch was the best-selling console for November again. It has been for most of the months, except a couple months ago, PlayStation beat it. Otherwise, it's been all Switch for like the last couple years or longer, or something crazy like that. But the market is down right now, hardware and software. On the hardware front, it's supply issues, like we thought.
Across the board.
Across the board. So it's a bummer. It's going to be a bummer for all these console makers, because I think they all know that they could probably be having record console selling quarters here, but they can't make enough. They really can't. And then software, it was just a tough competition compared to last year. I'm not quite sure exactly what that was. I mean, I think part of that is that the new Call of Duty launched a little softer than the one last year did, right? Like, so the new Call of Duty is the number one game, Vanguard, but it didn't immediately become the best-selling game of the year like it usually does. Like last year's Call of Duty is still the best-selling game of the year. So it sounds ridiculous to be like, this game debuted in November and is already the second best-selling game of the year, and that is like disappointing, but
Yeah, it is though slightly, because normally Call of Duty debuts and is the number one best-selling game of the year in its first month, and this year it is behind Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or whatever it is. Cold War, Black Ops Cold War.
The last one, yes.
So,
Call of Duty, the last one.
And so that's for the last, not counting like November, but like from January through November for Black Ops sales. And usually those sales are still high, but usually like the new Call of Duty immediately usurps that. So there is some softness there.
Yes, but we're not here to talk about Call of Duty, because they haven't released the game on Nintendo platforms in a long time. When was the last one? Did they ever release one on Wii U? No, I don't think they even did.
No, I don't think so.
But they had those weird Wii ports for a while there. Those are interesting. But anyway, so software-wise, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl immediately debuted at number 3. It was behind Call of Duty and Battlefield. We're saying Battlefield was still at number 2, despite like some of our intense dooming and glooming about that game. It almost seems like maybe it's just doing fine anyways. I don't know. I still don't know how to read that one sometimes.
I mean, I think it's doing fine. I think they wanted it to do even better than what it did. Sure. I think that's definitely true. But mostly it seems to be like the sentiment is actually the issue and not necessarily the sales. It's sold pretty well, and really that sentiment's going to hurt it in probably month 2 more than month 1, right? Where you expect the game to like pop off immediately, get a bunch of users, and then they tell their friends, and then they all show up in month two. That's probably not going to happen here.
Yes. So number 3 for Pokemon Diamond, Shining Pearl, good. This was the kind of the most surprising thing to me. So Super Mario Superstars came out in October, and it was 8 that month. It was up to number 6 in November.
Yeah, I mean that first one, Super Mario Party, sold 16 million copies.
Yeah.
It seems like now this is just going to be the one that people go for, and it's going to be I wonder if like Nintendo like stops printing Super Mario Party, so it's not the one on the shelf anymore. Or they keep both and just like let people choose because they're both $60, right? They're not going to lower the price, so you pick one, pick the other. Either way, it's a sale because it's going to be the same audience no matter what. So
it's like there is something different about the two because like Super Mario Party is like the newest one, and Superstars is the retro one. Now, there's nothing in the title that really helps sell that point to you, which is a little confusing about it. But like I definitely prefer Superstars, so nice to see that doing well. But even though Superstars like went up a bit, Jeff, Metroid Dread was not in the top 10, not in the top 20, and for Switch, not in the top 10. It's actually was the 11th best-selling Switch game for the month. This seemed bad to me. Matt Piscatella at NPD was kind of trying to say, no, this isn't that big a deal. It's just, there's a lot of new big games, and all the evergreen Nintendo titles just went back to outselling it. But so I guess my takeaway there is that Metroid Dread can't be an evergreen Nintendo title, or at least not of the strength of some of these other brands still, even with it being, one of the best received games on the platform, and it's, Metroid being this prestige thing, getting nominated for Game of the Year stuff. I don't know, Jeff, how do you read this?
I think it would, it definitely would be better for the game if it was selling more, and I think this is definitely, I guess I never expected it to be one of those super evergreen titles, but I did expect it to maybe have a little bit more legs than what it's showing. I suppose maybe it's the kind of game where it could sell better digitally, maybe, and people are picking it up that way.
Yeah, but that's always always sounds like an excuse when I try saying this is a better game.
Yep, exactly. So,
Forza Horizon 5 was on the list, and there's a game that people should be buying digitally or just getting through Game Pass, right?
Right, and it was a massive seller. Like it was the best selling Forza ever, like in its first month, which doesn't make any sense anymore. But I guess there's just so much excitement around that. That's what happens, and then we're not seeing that similar sort of push for Metroid Dread. But I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of games on Nintendo Switch that just sell every month, and there's a certain set of games that people, when they buy a new system, like they're doing in November, they are going to get a certain set of games with it. And I never expected Metroid Dread to be one of those. It was going to be stuff like Mario Kart, Zelda, Mario Party, a few others, Animal Crossing, right, Luigi's Mansion. And Metroid Dread needs to sort of be like the thing that people pick up when they're like, okay, I beat Breath of the Wild. I'm like super into playing games right now. Like, what should I get next? And that's when they pick up Metroid Dread. So I wonder if Metroid Dread actually like nudges its way up the chart a little bit in months when there aren't so many new Switches selling. Yeah. So maybe in like February we'll see it like hanging at the bottom of the top 10 on Switch.
It'll be curious to see what it does in December, because there aren't any major new Switch releases that I can think of, right? So, and a lot of people getting them for Christmas and stuff. It's kind of in the Fire Emblem Three Houses category, I think, right? Like that also had a very good like deep demo, but yeah, it does fall off. There's a lot of initial fans who get that game on month one here, and it's maybe not just I got a Switch for my kid. What are the 10 games I get for them? Metroid Dread may not be one of those games.
Fire Emblem Three Houses sold 3 million copies, which is like the glass ceiling for Metroid. That's what we're looking for from Metroid. So I'm still pretty hopeful that it's going to get to 3 million in the first year. So
yeah, and that should be something Nintendo just tells us when and if it happens.
Yeah, so. We will get initial numbers for that from in the next quarter. So just probably like a month and a half off, 2 months off.
Okay, that'll be interesting to see. All right, Jeff. So Masayuki Uemura, the creator of the NES and SNES, passed away this past week. So he was ahead of Nintendo R&D 2, I think, and he's led the way in literally designing and developing the original. So the Famicom really is what I mean here, and then Super Famicom. So I think he retired back in 2004. So sad news, basically the pioneer of the modern console market, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is like, there's a few names that you could point to, be like, hey, these people defined what we think of as console gaming to this day. And there's the guy that invented the cartridge actually at like Fairchild Channel F with that thing, like, and then there's Masayuki Uemura, who was like, hey, this is what it's going to look like going forward. And Yeah, this is really, it's moving. I'm glad that the guy got to retire and have like a long retirement and enjoy like the fruits of his labor and all that stuff. But yeah, this is definitely, it's moving because like the NES and Super Nintendo were so important to me. The Famicom, the Super Famicom.
If anything, it bothered me that I didn't really know this man's name until he passed away. Xbox just had that big documentary series come out. I hope that we can get something similar like that from Nintendo at some point here. I would really like.
You know how we usually get that stuff through that hack, through that mega hack, that like the whatever they call it. And then let's like we learn about all the things that they were going to do and didn't get released and all this stuff. And it's like you guys need to just put this out yourselves. This is what I mean. Like, we have that argument about public domain. What's actually more important to me is like them sharing their history with us and like not being so closely guarded with the stories of how these things happen and the people who made it happen. So hopefully Nintendo gets around to recognizing that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I wonder what it'll be like, especially in the future. And I'm always comparing things to Disney, but Disney had a way of kind of evangelizing its own history. And of course, we get their version of the history.
Yes, of course we do.
Which isn't always great, but it gets the ball rolling in a lot of ways. And other people can kind of pick up from that work and start telling the real stories. And I wonder, 20 years from now, and not to be morbid, but like life after Shiggy, if that's going to become an evangelized character, kind of like how Walt Disney has become and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, he already is. Like, yeah.
Sure. All right, so Jeff, last thing I have here, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be the new Nintendo 64 game added to Nintendo Switch Online, the expansion pack in January. Jeff, it really does seem like we are getting a one-a-monther here, and that we may also not be getting any more NES or SNES games, at least for the time being, maybe ever. So, I mean, it's Banjo-Kazooie, so at least they're not coming out with a wet fart of a one. And, at least when they are doing this, I mean, look, to be honest, even on NES, right, a lot of times it was one game you cared about and then two you didn't know anyways. I still rather have that. It is because sometimes those two games can be interesting, or they could be somebody's weird memory, something like that. But here it is just, one big game a month, but it is at least a big game.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is how we're doing it. We're gonna get through this initial batch by when, like, the middle of next year, not even. So what I hope for is that at E3 or a Nintendo Direct in the spring, when they're like, okay, yeah, we've been adding one game a month to the Nintendo 64 Online expansion pack. That hasn't been ideal, but we've at least stuck to that schedule, and hopefully they stick. If this is what they're doing, hopefully they stick to it, and we don't go like 3 months without getting even one. But whatever, they stuck to that schedule, and now we're looking forward. I hope we get another batch that's like, here is the 12 games coming, and we'll release 2 a month going forward or something like that. And it's some like really interesting deep cuts, because I mean, for me, the N64 Online expansion pack, all these things, like, they are cool for bringing back the games I loved, and of course I'm going to play again. And it's nice to be able to go back and play Donkey Kong Country or whatever, or Banjo-Kazooie on my Switch. I really appreciate that. But I also want the weird games that I didn't know about, like we talked about this one, the Return to Silius or whatever it is.
The NES game.
Yeah, the NES game.
I didn't know, what's this? Oh, it turns out it's a Sunsoft game that's very good. Okay,
yeah, cool. It's like, oh, this feels really great to play. Like, I didn't know about this. And like, I want to get some of that stuff from N64, and if we're going one a month, it's going to be some time before they even get around to announcing new games, because we already know the first set of games that's coming to the system, so it's not even a surprise. So I don't know, it's weird, but I'm not. I guess I'm over it at this point already. We went over this. We went over this with what was Paper Mario for December. That was just like a week ago.
Right. I can only get mad about the same thing so many times.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so this is just how they're going to treat us. Fine, whatever. Do I care or not? I already paid for it for a year, so whatever. I'll show up for it.
What's going on with the Genesis games? Did they announce like more of those that were coming initially, like the Nintendo 64? Is what we have basically all we're ever going to get on that front?
It seems like it. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's no, like, the Genesis is new, and they haven't announced any new ones there. Yeah, I think it's probably just going to take some time for them to get new ones on there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for the news we have here. We've already been getting some super chats in. Thank you for those. You can send a super chat if you want us to read your comment, your question, or you can answer our topic for the week, which is, what Nintendo world would you most like to get into? Jeff, I have a few questions here from the Discord community. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah. Should we talk about the Analog Pocket first, or should we do this?
Yes. I did tell you we were going to do that, wasn't I? Well, now I'm embarrassed, and I already said we're doing the question. So I better
just let you go. Just let the bull run loose, everybody.
I'm not backing it. I'm not backing off now.
He makes a mistake, he commits to it, everybody. That's what an adult does.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. You just act like you know what you're doing, and it was all part of the plan. Joker voice. All right. Alex asks, How have we not seen Mario versions of some of the skipped over sports games or sports like hockey, American football, and especially skating could all probably have some fun Mushroom Kingdom twists? Well, skating is part of the Olympics. Like a lot of these things kind of get thrown into the Olympics. I think even one of them does have like a hockey quote unquote game.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. American football, I think, is rough just because like it's I think people, I don't know, is that still a thing? I remember people were getting kind of squirmish about being kid friendly with football, but now they show football games on Nickelodeon, so I don't know. I guess that's not an issue anymore. So football might just be, that's probably just a market problem, right? Where football, it's American football, you literally put it right there, right? So how would other territories care about that? Maybe they wouldn't. So,
and it's like, are you really going to put resources into making that when you could just be doing another Strikers? And it's like, no, obviously not.
Yeah, that's what they should be doing, is just making another Mario Strikers. Winnie, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry, asks, what series active on other platforms do you wish would come back to Nintendo consoles for future games? For example, Banjo-Kazooie. Well, I don't know if I'd say Banjo-Kazooie is super active on other platforms, but I know what he means. Like, if Banjo-Kazooie counts, then Castlevania would count, and that's what I would say, I guess. Right?
That's probably the one I'm thinking of too, honestly.
Right. I mean, I don't know, Jeff. What are you thinking about?
It's probably Castlevania, something like that. I'm trying to think like what other Rare games are active. I mean, none of them are really active anymore, right? So I mean,
they're
and even like Perfect. I'm like, I'll be happy to play Perfect Dark on my Xbox. It doesn't need to come to the Switch. I'm fine with that.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough. So I'm like, when I try to look at like third party, a lot of that stuff is just falling off, and the ones that I would want the most would be like stuff like the stuff from Konami. So the answer probably is Castlevania, because like if they're gonna do another, like if Capcom's gonna do another Mega Man, that'll be on the Switch. So I'm not too worried about that. Like yeah,
absolutely. Nintendo Bro asks, how come Samus losing her powers to start every game seems ridiculous, but no one bats an eye at the fact that Link always has to go find the Master Sword? Well, it's usually a different Link, right? I think so.
That's
it's
the
like
big difference.
So that's your difference there. It's like, well, now this Link has to get the Master Sword. So it makes sense. And to be clear, we don't care. Me and you, it doesn't bother us.
I love it, actually. I think it's great.
Yeah. They try to like be clever about it in Other M, and it ended up being very stupid.
Yep.
Like, no, we get it. You know, she has to lose her powers because you have to get powers in the game. So in Metro Joe went to like, in the opening, she loses her powers because a guy touched her.
Yeah, like, right. Yeah. It would happen to me if Mike ever touched me. I'd be like, yeah,
happens to me every time. Nintendo Pro also asked, are you guys going to live stream the Indie World Showcase tomorrow? I just want to see Mike's reactions to the presence or absence of Silksong. Jeff, that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. Are we streaming that?
I'm down if you are. I'll let you make this call. If you're open to it, okay.
I'm good for it.
Okay, let's do it then, and we'll see. And Rachel can join us if she's available. If not, no pressure. But yeah, we'll see if she wants to, and then we'll do it. We'll do it like we did the Game Awards.
Turbo asked, Mike, can you ask Jeffy over there how he could even think of stealing from poor small companies like Warner Brothers and UMG? He's a monster. Who's UMG?
Universal Media Group. Music Group.
Who says UMG instead of Universal?
Is it UMG? Is UMG?
People are out of hand with your things.
Yeah.
Jeffrey. Yeah. Well, Jeff, what did you steal from them?
No idea.
I know what this is about. This is about you got a copyright strike because they played that Matrix thing.
Yeah, right. Okay, yes. I mean, listen, I'm bigger than any of them, and I get to take what I want. So that's why. That's so stupid. I mean, copyright rules are so messed up in the entire world. It's just a broken system altogether. But whatever. It's frustrating because you get to go through all these hoops to get permission to like restream the thing, and they're like, okay, and we're gonna show a movie trailer that they don't want you to show, even though it's a commercial, and they definitely want you to show it. It's so weird. All right, whatever.
Yeah. Jeff, our first super chat we got here is about our topic, but the second one was a question. Would you like to read it? I can read it. I do have it right here if you don't.
No, I got it right here. So the first one we got is from our topic. So the second one we got is from Casual. What's up, Nintendogs? Since I'm new to the Beefy Cheddar Boys, hey, welcome to the club. Could you tell me your origin story? What was it like when Mike met Jeff? First impressions. Go for it, Mike.
Yeah, so Jeff and I both were writing at this site called bitmob.com, basically as interns. There was nobody paid at that site, really. It was run by
volunteers.
One Up EGM people. And then that site got eventually bought by VentureBeat, where we still are at today right now. Me and you, I think, are the only two left from that, too, when they bought VentureBeat.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's interesting. We met in person for the first time at PAX East. Was it that first one?
PAX East,
2011.
Yeah.
10-year anniversary. How about that?
Did you guys? Were you guys on the train? No, I don't think you guys were on the train to PAX. You guys drove out there.
Yeah, we just drove out there separately. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, man, gosh, first impression, guys, it was so long ago. I was meeting so many people back then that at the time Jeff did not seem special. One of my first impressions was I remember we went the first event I went with him was for Alpha Protocol. And it was back when both of us weren't used to those, and they sat us down in this little room. And they showed us footage of Alpha Protocol. I know that people have a sweet spot for that game now, but in that preview, it looked bad. Yep. I thought it looked bad. And I remember the guys any questions, and nobody was saying anything. And Jeff was the one who was trying to ask questions and not make it super awkward.
Yeah, I that is always me. And so Mike actually nailed it in one, because there was a time when the dude from Big Lebowski, it's based on a real guy, and he came to talk about the movie at the Alamo Draft House here in Denver, and he was always drunk, and you could tell he was a handful and causing the handlers at Alamo a lot of problems. And there was a Q&A after the movie, and no one wanted to ask him any questions, so I asked him 3 to make sure it wasn't awkward. So Mike, you got that absolutely. I think there's if the Exploding Barrel is still online somewhere, Mike, there's an episode of the podcast that you guys recorded at dinner at either that first or second PAX East, and I was you guys passed the mic around at dinner, and I'm on that. So that's one of the first times I ever met Mike, and I'm on that show. So yeah,
Exploding Barrel was a podcast I did with my brother for a long time. Yeah, Jeff shows up there early on sometimes. It is weird now to look back at that, because you know, some of those relationships, they come and go, but I'm still stuck with this asshole.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, we could talk about the Analogue Pocket now in more detail. So you posted a great video about it. We have a written review up too. Pretty nice little device there, huh?
It's very cool. Hang on, my kid's watching Enter the Spider-Verse, and she's sad because I think Spider-Man just died.
Well, get over it, kid.
Why are you scared? Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be all right. The Analogue Pocket is fantastic.
You got more Spider-Mans where that one came from. Don't worry.
It's really solid. It does exactly what they promised. It's a really fantastic way to play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games specifically. Game Boy Advance is a little bit imperfect just because it's not the same exact aspect ratio, but you won't have any issues with the interpolation of the pixels, because the screen is so high resolution. It's 1440 by 1600 or 1600 by 1440, which is 10 times the resolution of the original Game Boy. But that really works when you're using stuff like Game Boy Advance, because they could just fill up the whole screen as much as possible, even if it's not pixel perfect, and it looks pixel perfect. So that's really nice. I think it feels really good in the hand. It feels pretty premium. I think that the materials are easy to scuff, so that's a slight ding against it. And literally, I saw a couple dings already on it. But yeah, I've just been really enjoying it. The big issue for me is that the EverDrive, while it works, you can't put it in sleep mode with the EverDrive, and sleep mode works with everything else. So it's pretty frustrating to be this would be an easy way to play all my games, but if I'm playing, I gotta just keep going and then find a safe spot and then turn the whole thing off. So it's and Game Boy Advance, supported sleep, had a sleep mode built in, at least with the SP. I actually can't remember how sleep mode worked on the Game Boy Advance exactly.
I don't think that's even true about the SP. I don't think the SP had built-in sleep mode. I think it still was down to individual games.
Okay, yeah, you had to hit the button, and then there was a sleep mode option in the menus. I think you're right. So, but that doesn't really work either. If you try to do that with the EverDrive, that won't work. But with everything else, you could put it in sleep mode. That's very convenient. The software is very easy to use. There's not a ton of options, but there's some cool options where if you hold down the home button and press left or right on the D-pad, and it'll give you different options for the way to make the screen look like either the analog screen with its super high resolution, or exactly like a Game Boy DMG, the original Game Boy, or Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Pocket Light, and it's just like really cool to emulate those screens. It's like, oh, this is a really neat effect. And again, they could do that because the resolution is so high that it's like they can emulate like the look of like the LCD lines and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play, if like you have a big Game Boy cartridge collection and big Game Boy Color cartridge collection, I think this is a no-brainer. You should definitely get it. And then also, if you are someone who's like willing to wait a little bit for other cores, because this is an FPGA-based console where like people can program cores to make the thing behave like other systems. Someone's going to put one out there to run ROMs for these systems, and the promise is from Analogue is that there is an open FPGA chip inside there that anyone can bring their cores to, and eventually there should be support for like NES and Super Nintendo and Genesis and TurboGrafx and all this other stuff from that era. And I'm like really waiting for that. There's no promise of that support, and there's like a big scene for that stuff over with the Mister, and so like time will tell if that scene will transfer over to this, if there will be cross-pollination there, and we'll get a lot of support for the Analogue Pockets version of this. But it is such a good device. It's such an enticing device that I would expect a lot of people to bring that work over, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think that it doesn't have shoulder buttons, right? It's just those 4 face buttons, and the top 2 kind of replicate the shoulder buttons from Game Boy Advance. Is that right?
It has shoulder buttons, and they're very nice. They feel exactly like the Game Boy Advance SP's shoulder buttons. They're they kind of like, so how it works is there's a cartridge slot in the back, and so. Well, like it looks like a full Game Boy in the front. In the back, it goes like halfway up, and then there is the shoulder buttons, and then the slot for the cartridge is right there, and the cartridges just like stick all the way out and stuff. Right. It looks really nice.
Now I can see it. Okay, so if you could, Super Nintendo games would not be a problem then. It does Game Gear games too, right? I know you probably don't really have any Game Gear games.
No, I don't. Yeah, so for that you have to use a cartridge adapter. They sent that over. And that makes the Game Gear games actually stick out past the top. Like all the other ones are flush or they're low profile, but still like it works. It's an option, and the core is already in there. So you could do that. Play your Game Gear games. I do not have any Game Gear games to test, but I tested Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and they all worked flawlessly. It was really impressive. So the big difference here, like. There are like a lot of Chinese handhelds out there, and those use software emulation. They're like usually like these, small little boards, small little chips that you would find in like older phones, like being reworked to work for these little handheld devices. What the difference here is with FPGA, this is hardware sort of emulation where they're just making this new hardware behave exactly like old hardware, and the idea is to get authenticity over the way the games behave. And every game I tested seemed to work exactly right. I think there is some slight awkwardness with some music, which is always the hard thing, even with hardware emulation. So,
not the Game Boy Advance music.
Yeah, I think MVG actually in his video, I watched his, which is a good review. It touched on a lot of the same points that I had. He noticed that Shantae, there was like some snare drums that like had some longer sustain where instead of going they would go like that, and it's like okay, it's so there's really small quirks, and that stuff will actually probably get updated over time. They're always putting out new firmwares for these things to improve the hardware emulation, and that'll just take some time.
All right, so pretty interesting.
And like any question, like you got one, like what pushed you over the edge? Is just because it was available and it's this new shiny thing, or was there like something specific you have in mind?
Basically, just watching you playing Donkey Kong 94 and that thing, and I do have Donkey Kong 94. I was like, I want to do that. And when awesome. I pay $250 just to play Donkey Kong 94 and some new fancy hardware, maybe I would. I think the thing that was like turning me off was like, what am I gonna start collecting Game Boy games now? And it like turns out maybe I will.
Yeah,
maybe I will.
Game Boy like was so popular, so many Game Boy systems. Turns out there's a lot of Game Boy cartridges out there. It is not like the GameCube where there was 5 out there, and so people like every game is worth $200 or something like that.
I was at like the local kind of resale store, and I couldn't believe how much GameCube games have just rocketed in price, even within the last
never going to go back down.
Years.
Yeah,
like they had a copy of WarioWare micro games. The WarioWare, whatever that one was. like new or something, $350.
Yep.
It's literally like those comic books now where it has like the grade and stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's insane. So
GameCube,
the GameCube market's rough.
It's messed up. Yes, Game Boy Color probably a little bit rougher, but probably still not too bad. And Game Boy Advance, just such popular systems that these things are going to be pretty easy to collect for. Game Boy Advance, because that nostalgia is so like the right time, right place for a lot of people right now. That'll be a little bit more difficult. But honestly, I usually get those Chinese handhelds, and I play a lot of Game Boy Advance games. Having this thing and like going back and playing a lot of Game Boy games, I'm like, oh, Game Boy actually rules. And I have the Game Boy the original Game Boy handheld, and I tried to use it when the Analog Pocket first got announced. I like got it out and I looked at the screen. I'm like, how did I ever play on this thing? I cannot see the screen at all, and it's so nice to like have a device that like is so perfectly made to make those games look as good as possible. So that something like Donkey Kong 94 is just like this miracle that looks like it's a great playing game, and then on top of that, it actually looks great, and it's great to have a system that unlocks all of those capabilities.
All right, Jeff. Thank you for that. Why don't we move on to the topic we have this week, which is which Nintendo world would you choose to live in? Jeff, do you want to go first here? I know you sometimes scramble to come up with an answer. Do you have one in your head?
I don't know if I have one in my head. Even when like you asked this last week, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come up with a great answer to this one. Like what Nintendo world would you want to live in? I would say Mario, but what is that? I'm gonna go live in the Mushroom Kingdom and like work with the Toads or something. Like,
does that really sound that appealing?
Yeah, and like my first concern always is how am I gonna eat? Like how am I gonna be able to pay for food? Is like the Mushroom Kingdom a place where like you get like an allotment of food every day? Am I gonna be fine? So like, yeah, I'm like, there's no obvious job for me in the Mushroom Kingdom. So it's like, that's where like I'm stuck on. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. I guess I could see myself in, like the Zelda world, but because I'm like, there would just be manual labor to be done there, and because like that's what. You wake up, you're like, there's a blacksmith right there. So I'm like, I could be like that.
Sounds off there, but you're basically just living in medieval times. Everyone's like, I would have lived there.
Yeah.
No one actually liked living in the medieval times.
Right. And there's always the chance that some weird pig guy is going to make the sky turn black and like you're going to live in a hell world now. So, and you get attacked by goblins. So yeah, I'm in a tough spot for this.
I'll tell you what, I'm a coward, and most video games resolve around conflict. So like that's my first thing. It's like, where can I live somewhere where I won't get hurt? And then like, look, things like I like my life the way it is. I like this suburban asshole shit that I do. So I basically want something that's relatively what I already got. That's why I think a lot of people did say this. Just Pokemon. Pokemon is just our world, but apparently there's no war.
Yeah,
or real murder. Like there's an evil organization and they won't even like hurt people, right?
They'll only kidnap your Pokemon. Like, and there's a million of those. Just go get another one. Yeah.
Apparently it's so safe that people just send their like 7-year-olds out to explore the world by themselves. So it's like, I tell you what, like whatever the Pokemon people problems are, they ain't our problems.
Right, exactly. I think I'll be even more cowardly. I'll just say Earthbound because it's basically just the suburbs I grew up in. So there we go.
And there's more dangerous. People, I think like that bug died at the beginning of Earthbound, right? Like I think
true. Things can die. Yeah.
Like, so in Earthbound, you have to attack the people. In Pokemon, you just send out your dog to do it.
And they only faint. They never die. Like nothing ever dies in Pokemon. I don't think anything has ever died.
Things die because in the first Pokemon game, you go to that tower filled with gravestones. So Pokemon at least do die, I suppose, at some point here. But even that is like about as dark.
All right, I got my answer.
As Pokemon ever got. Okay, what is it, Jeff?
Star Fox Adventures. Just turn me into a furry and let me at Crystal. Let's just do it. Let's just get it over with.
Literally, somebody else I think also had that answer. Man, well, that's like some people went that route. Like they try to make it about the waifus.
Yeah, of course.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Animal Crossing's a good one. Actually, again, I'm gonna steal this one from Stisto in the chat. Animal Crossing would be great for me because I don't necessarily I like kind of like just doing stuff alone. And that's what Animal Crossing's about. And occasionally you talk to some animal friends and yeah, I don't know, it seems relaxing and peaceful. And if I like want to have a project, I have a project and I can just like plant trees and eat that fruit and I'll be fine. Okay, well, yeah, this is for me, Mike. This is for Jeffrey, not for you.
I'm saying, just like with real Animal Crossing, in about 6 months, I'd get bored. I don't know. Like, what do you, like, we can't even go, there's no movie theaters.
Jeff loves to be in debt. I would make the animals entertain me. I don't know.
That's what I'm doing in Pokemon. All right, let's see what the community has to say about this one, Jeff.
All right.
Low Rule Legend says, Fire Emblem, just like it date all the honeys. Make sure you wink at the camera when you say honeys. All right, I'm winking. There we go. Gosh, again, though, this is basically just medieval times things. And I know the
with a lot of war, with like extra war.
Yeah, Fire Emblem seems incredibly dangerous, you know?
I mean, it's got permadeath. I mean, it's right there.
Yes, yeah. People just die constantly. And everybody was like, I want to go to this fantasy setting because everyone's pretty. They must all smell terrible. They don't have showers. They don't have modern hygiene.
Yeah, they're wearing giant metal things that make them all sweaty and make their skin irritated. Yeah. They just smell like butt. That's what they smell like.
I can't, anytime there's anything that's like in a fantasy or like medieval setting and like everyone's sexy, all I can do is like, everyone must smell just awful. Runham says, I'm just going to answer Golden Sun until you play it. Well, if I get an analog pocket, maybe I can track down a Golden Sun card. And then there we go. We can finally do that. We can do that. Turbo Sean says, I feel like this is the obvious answer, but I want to live in the world of Pokemon. Come on. Who wouldn't want to live in a world where not only do they give out comprehensive healthcare and life-changing technology like it's candy, but your pets all have superpowers that help you in your daily life? Imagine being able to teleport to the grocery store or having a friendly ghost turn all your electronics into smart appliances. It'd be a bit weird for dogfighting to be your national pastime, but it's worth it for the cool factor of being able to ride to work on the back of a Charizard.
It's dogfighting if the dogs loved it. The dogs love it.
Yes, the Pokemon series makes it very clear how much the Pokemon just love beating the shit out of each other, so it's okay. It's all fight. And then Benji Bob says, Sean beat me to it, but yeah, it actually has to be Pokemon. The only downside is that sometimes a super evil organization is trying to destroy your continent, but hey, on the bright side, it's canon that Nintendo video games still exist. And name any other Nintendo world that you can still play Nintendo video games in.
Animal Crossing.
I actually did think about that. That was a major port. Even Animal Crossing can get like NES games. In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, I have a Switch in my bedroom, right?
Fair enough, yeah.
Like my mommy's downstairs, like making mac and cheese, and I got my Switch in my bedroom. Like, it's fine. And again, those like villain plots to destroy the worlds, they're toppled by an 8-year-old, so I don't think they're all that devious. We'll be fine.
That's true. That's a good point.
We'll be fine.
Mommy making mac and cheese downstairs.
Mommy making mac and cheese downstairs. All right. Alex says Pokemon is definitely the correct answer, but some variety wouldn't hurt. So my second choice for a world would be Legend of Zelda. I know some of those worlds like the back of my hand and would love to just walk around and experience some of the locations firsthand. Seeing a Redead in person would be the end of me, though. Yeah, once again, I just feel like Zelda is incredibly dangerous and basically just like living in medieval times serfdom, actually. Like, once you remove the romanticism of like the soundtrack and the fact that you're a hero, like, would you really just want to be like some person living in a Legend of Zelda village? They always seem upset. When you talk to them, they're not happy to see you. Right. They're telling you that they're busy usually. Like, oh, I'm gonna go milk a cow for the 50th time today. And also, shit, there's a giant pig killing everyone.
They're building a town for 7 years. There's a sad fish boy by a tree. Like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Jeremy G says Pokemon is the wrong answer. All these teams of people making day-to-day life difficult, even trying to end the world. The correct answer is being a mushroom farmer in the world of Mario. You'd be making so much coin, even Daisy would start to notice you. Only one of these worlds does have Daisy in it, huh?
That's true. That's a good point, yes. And there's lots of sports and recreation. They're always playing, like, tennis and stuff. So, yeah, you'd have stuff to do.
Well, I mean, the Mario world is so inconsistent, right? Like, I don't like. It's like it's Mario Strikers. They clearly have video technology, but people don't have TVs, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to go hack the big screen at the Mario Striker Stadium and try to find the HDMI port to connect whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to find a Blu-ray player. So yeah,
who knows? Wildfire Alex says the Nintendo world I'd most like to live in is Popstar from the Kirby franchise. It's easily the most peaceful area to inhabit, and while there tends to be some annoying creatures from time to time looking at you, King DDD, Kirby ensures the safety of everyone living there and always ends up saving the day. Also, all that damn food. I will never go hungry again. like the Kirby things, it's like I know everyone's basically happy. It's like when people like describe the afterlife as some kind of like weird ethereal paradise where you're just floating around as like concepts and you're blissful. I'm like, that sounds boring. I want to have a Game Boy there. What about my movies? You know, like it's too different. It's too different. I can't just like go and like be a turd ball who eats all day and then like walks around and sings. Like, nah.
You know, apart from the turd ball that eats all day and sings that you are right now.
Wow.
Beyond that.
Wow, fair enough. Actually, I set myself up for that one. That I'll allow it. Hero Select says, I've been playing through Star Fox Adventures, so I want to live in the Lilat system, specifically on Dinosaur Planet, where I could spend the rest of my glorious life among stupid talking animals, but more importantly, Crystal. She's such a babe, eh? Tell you what, Star Fox is the wrong answer.
She's mine, Hero Select. You stay away.
Yeah, no. Wrong answer. Also, like, that's like one of the most dangerous Nintendo worlds. I feel like you're just constantly getting bombarded.
Explosions, yeah. There's like mega explosions, giant. Yeah, there's a fox that is in charge, or a wolf that's in charge of a bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, your fox's dad's dead, and I don't know. No, thank you. No, thank you. Nick Turbo says, I would choose the Mario universe. Is the only place where you could go fighting your arch nemesis one day to playing golf or go karts with them the next. Man, my arch nemesis sucks. I don't want to play golf with him. Fuck that guy.
That's the thing. Like you said, there's no entertainment, but like they're all actors, right? That's the whole concept. Like Miyamoto always says, they're not actually hurting each other. They're just pretending it's a play. And so there's obviously entertainment. Paper Mario always has like, an audience there that people are like cheering and stuff. So
not always, it did end. The best ones, Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door, but that's me being a couple others
since then have had that too. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't believe it.
They have, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the one had like the toads on the bleachers. You're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Jeff, for being right. I hate you.
I think there's even more. Like I think even Sticker Star had something. I don't know. It's one of those.
No one played Sticker Star. I don't even think it did from what I played it. Sticker Star doesn't
But they
count.
have stickers though, so that's fun.
I'll tell you what, they had stickers. I bet they also had stars. Geeky64 says, count me in to chill in the Lilat system and join Star Fox. There's tons to explore in that system. And as Hero Select pointed out, there's a freaking planet full of dinosaurs too. So yeah, I'd hang out with all the space furries at my choice. You guys have fun with that one. I will not be joining you in Star Fox land. Jayton says, living in Hyrule as a Hylian sounds great, especially in the Breath of the Wild world. I feel like the Breath of the Wild world would be one of the worst ones. Isn't that basically like a desolated...
Yeah, it's like a post-apocalypse.
Yeah, like the biggest town has like 5 houses.
I don't know. That's something about that sounds peaceful. I don't know, but
I feel like you guys think that you're like I'm so tired of mankind, so I just want to live in this village, and then you have to work like 15-hour days to just support some asshole with their children, and you're miserable, and then this hero comes along and breaks all your goddamn pots, and he saves the day, but your life actually doesn't change at all, and you have an existential crisis about what was the meaning of all of it.
You get old, and another green guy comes along and breaks your pots again. You're like, what the hell is happening? This is different. Yeah, that'd be pretty annoying.
Gerbear says it has to be Woohoo Island, a literal island paradise with the only major drawback being the presence of a golf course. So there are probably golfers lurking. I know that's a drawback. There's golfers.
That's really good.
Apart from that's the only major hazard you have to be aware is the occasional Mario Kart race. I'm seeing a lot of answers involving worlds where there's a lot of dangerous stuff hanging around. I try to avoid wild rats already. Why would I want to live in a world where they are bigger, yellow, and could shoot lightning out their butt? Nobody give me a sunny island with a nice beach where I can play frisbee with my cute dog and only has 1 tail, not 9. Oh, good 9-tail reference there. Yeah, that's I'll allow that one, group. That sounds pretty good. Winnie, featuring Dante from Devil May Cry, says, I want to live in the world of the Nintendogs so I can hang out with Mike and Jeff before dying of my awful allergy to dogs. Tell you, he might be only there a couple of days, but what a couple of days it will be.
It would be magical, absolutely. Real quick, for these questions, are we imagining like the world of these games becoming realistic and we exist in them like the real world, or do we become like the cartoon versions? Yeah, how literal is the translation?
I guess I assume it's pretty literal. I imagine.
Okay.
I don't know. Why is this about the waifus again? Are you worried about them turning real and having medieval times teeth and stuff?
I mean, that's definitely a concern, absolutely. But I was like imagining Pikachu. Like, is Pikachu gonna look more like a yellow electric rat, Or is he going to be that cute cartoon character that I know? Like, that's what I was actually thinking of.
Let's say at worst he looks like how he did in the movie, which was like realistic, but still pretty cute.
Okay. That works for me. All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah, we'll allow that. What do we got here? Fondolin says, I want to live in the land of Fodlan from Fire Emblem Three Houses, specifically at the Garrick Monastery, where all the kiddos go to war with each other. It would be such a chill place to live. Plus, who needs that old hag Crystal with all these waifus running around the monastery? Again, I don't know if you played that game, but like
things turn. It takes a turn.
Yeah, things get dark.
Like you can live at the monastery for a time, and then stuff happens at the monastery.
To be clear, you live in a monastery. Like, what do you think you're going to be doing? You probably have to like go and say like 3 hours of prayers on your knees on some hard floor. And then you have to like wash like shit out of the shit bowl where everybody shits in because there's no plumbing. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about all these Fire Emblem. I think everyone's just thirsty. That's the only reason they're saying Fire Emblem.
Very lonely.
Fair. All those husbandos and waifus. Laucian says, Pokemon would be the world I would like to live in, but the Sun and Moon region, since it reminds me of Hawaii. Man, I was so excited for Sun and Moon because of those Hawaii vibes, and then that game was just so goddamn boring. That's about. But yeah, in terms of like living in one, I'd probably just either pick like Kanto, like the original Pokemon place because nostalgia, or the one that looks like Hawaii because that seems nice. Why not? Mr. Pocket says, I'd like to try living in the Paper Mario universe. It would either be a ton of fun or absolute hell. Either way, I want to find out. I thought, yeah, that would certainly be one of the more unique experiences you can have is in Paper Mario.
Yeah, you go to the Paper Mario universe and your skin just flattens out and all your entrails come spilling out on the floor. That's my imagination. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some kind of nightmare hell like that. Yeah. I have Jeff, I threw a question in this segment by mistake. Would you like to answer a random question?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, let's change gears.
I did put this together at like 5 a.m. after beating Endwalker, so forgive me. Laucian asks, or says to you, I saw your review of the Analogue Pocket. It was great. Loved the intro. Question, I can't justify the $220 price on the Pocket. I don't have many cartridges. Well, it didn't stop me because I'm an irresponsible idiot. What would you recommend for a budget-friendly way to revisit Game Boy and Game Boy Color games? I still have a working DS Lite for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, let's see. I have the Anbernic RBG. Let me see here. Let me find the exact thing. There's a vertical version of it though, and if you're specifically interested in that has the 4x3 screen, and I really like those Anbernics. I think it's the RG351V. There we go. Yes, there you go. Okay, so yeah, Anbernic, ANBERNIC, RG351V, the vertical one. And honestly, it looks a lot like an Analog Pocket, but it's gonna come preloaded with a bunch of games. You can easily put more on the SD card, and it's about I think it's about between $90 to $120 depending on if you want to get like the wood panel one or like a plastic one. And I love my my RG351. That's the horizontal like GB advanced sort of look. But the vertical one would be great for Game Boy and Game Boy Color, so I would pick that up.
All right, that is very helpful. I am a fool and just bought the expensive thing. Cranchus McBasketball says, I'd easily want to live in the Metroid universe. You like the name Cranchus
Basketball?
To be clear.
It's like someone's going to show up on Christmas and like curse me or something. I don't know.
McBasketball.
Curse me. Like, I have to play against Scottie Pippen until I beat him or something. And go get my children back.
It would be ridiculous if like 200 years people had last names like McBasketball.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I want to I wish I could see into that future really bad.
McStreamer.
McStreamer, right?
Just streamer. Like
but like
jobs.
We could be from Scotland. Like there's a lot of Scottish streamers, right? Yeah.
I found out Minotti, like the min is basically the same thing as like a mech. It just means son of.
Wow. Right? Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. All right.
There's a lot of mins.
So you're the son of Naughty?
Yeah, I guess. I'm son of naughty at something. There's a naughty boy out there at one point, and I am the son of a naughty boy. I like that. You can put that on my gravestone. Son of a naughty.
son of a naughty boy. Absolutely, yeah, I'll put that on your gravestone.
Anyway, he says, does Cranchus McBasketball? I easily want to live in the Metroid universe. I want Samus to step on me. All right, look.
I heard that right as you were about to say it. man.
All you goddamn thirsty boys. Look, that seems like a pretty grim, unhappy sci-fi world. You are probably not going to run into Samus, let alone get her to step on you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to join the space pirates. The space pirates seem pretty incompetent, and then you're gonna have to deal with the Metroids. You're probably gonna get killed by a Metroid before you ever actually meet Samus. So,
I imagine Samus would be the hardest woman to impress in the entire universe, including fiction.
Like, right. She just would not even step on you. She would just walk right past you. Yeah.
Like, I know Princess Peach is royalty, but I still feel like your chances would be better there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Man. So,
thank you, Courageous Big Basketball.
We were doing this podcast 20 years ago. The question would be like, what is the hottest Nintendo babe?
Yes.
Top 10 Nintendo babes we'd like to see at the beach.
Special swimsuit edition of the GamesBeat Decides podcast.
Well, we will do that, but it'll just be us wearing bathing suits. So we'll just look naked because you're just going to see us from the top up. I'll
wear one of those one pieces that has like the sleeves and stuff. I'll do one of those. There we go.
Okay, old timey. That would be very good.
Yeah, striped ones. Yeah.
Yeah, mine will have to be tight on the chest. Napper says, if I could have a giant house from selling fruit, then the Animal Crossing universe sounds like the best one to me. Fair enough. Big screaming. Sorry, I'm still thinking about Courageous Big Basketball there, Napper. But you're fine. That makes sense. That's basically what Jeff wants to do. He wants to sell fruit. I hate fruit though, so I won't abide by this.
I want to eat fruit and sell other stuff.
No, thank you. Screaming Madden says, I'd like to live in the Punch-Out universe. It would be great to get into shape under the eye of Doc Lewis while he'll have an endless supply of chocolate bars. Plus, with Punch-Out for Wii giving all the boxers so much more personality and backstory, it feels like the world of Punch-Out can be pretty exciting. Take me to Hippo Island. Oh, and maybe I'll meet Mike Tyson and hope he doesn't knock me out. Yeah, I don't know. The Punch-Out world just kind of sounds a lot like our world. Like, you could go to Hawaii. You don't have to go to Hippo Island. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to get Spider-Man back on for this kid.
You know what? I could tell you were. It's funny how I can't see you when I'm reading these things.
Right.
And there's nothing to hear, anyways. But I can sense when you're not paying attention.
Well, I wasn't. Except for I heard someone wants to live on in the Punch-Out universe. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's just reality, but with like weirder boxers, which is, I guess, that's fine.
That's basically it.
And Mike Tyson.
Once again, why is Doc Lewis going to train you, Screaming Madden? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty presumptuous of you. I mean, it's more likely to happen than getting Samus to step on you. So sure.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Beef Hammer says, I was going to say the Zelda universe, but I realized that if I ever see a boy in a green tunic running around, I know everything is about to go to hell. Link showing up as a sign of bad times in Hyrule. Instead, I'll go with Elite Beat Agents universe.
Ooh.
Not sure I prefer to be one of the agents or if I just want to live in a universe where whenever I have the smallest problem, I know 3 tuxedoed agents will come help out through the power of music. The agents would be a pretty weird thing to have in real life, but I'd still love to see that universe.
Yeah, I think for this question, assume that you're not going to be the characters in the game.
Assume that you're not important.
Yes,
assume that you're not that you're not important in real life, but assume that you're as important in the game world as you are in your real world.
Right. But in Elite Beat Agents universe, I could see them showing up in your the moment of darkness and the darkest point of your life, and so that's actually a really good answer. I like that.
Glenn says, my answer would have to be Animal Crossing or Nintendogs for obvious reasons. Both games are comfort titles and seem like great places to live. Animal Crossing is way more interesting, but Nintendogs has dogs, so it's a hard choice. If I wanted a bit more spice, I may say Fire Emblem for plot reasons. I tell you what, that's the real reason anyone is saying Fire Emblem, right?
Oh yes, of course. It's because they fell in love with their in-game waifu.
Their waifu.
Yeah, and now we all have to hear about it forever. I get it.
That's how it goes. Jeff, that's all the interest from the community. Do we have some more super chats to read?
Yeah, let me pop over to Stream Elements. I know we have at least one, so let's see. Let's go back here to about an hour ago.
No, I think we have some questions in too, and you can just read those in with them now.
All right. Well, let's go with Major Blazer here. I want to live in Pokemon World since Team Rocket probably pays $20 an hour with no experience required. Yeah, you probably could get a job with Team Rocket. Exactly. You're not going to be Jesse or James, but you could get a job with
a grunt. You'll be a Team Rocket grunt, and I bet that's appealing to some people. Yes. They told what to do. Yeah, he'll be fine.
From Kyle Martin, I would live in the world of arms because it seems pretty normal, but with long arms. I like that.
Yeah, that seems fair.
That's fine. And speaking of waifus, I like the lady with the pigtails, twin tails, or whatever her name is. The pig. She walks.
Everyone likes twin tails. I'm still kind of mad we didn't get twin tails in Smash Brothers, but Min's fine. Plain Milk's fine. Min's fine. Plain Milk's fine.
Yeah, but it's like, speaking of like having Samus step on you, like Twintella or whatever, she could like strangle you with her hair. Yeah, that'd be nice. Sorry. Let's see. Keb says, in Dreamland from Kirby, when you walk past this might be a question. Let's see here. In Dreamland from Kirby, when you walk past the flower, a slice of pizza pops out of it. The occasional universe-ending evil is more than worth that. Okay, that's actually a good answer. That's a good answer.
That is okay.
How would that would make my day if that happened? That would be that's so much better than finding $20 on the ground. That's like
that's pretty good. Okay,
it just pops out and it's fresh and ready to go.
This pizza pops out. Okay,
all right, let me see if there's any other answers here.
That.
Yep.
You've won me over on Kirby. I was kind of down on Kirby before, but now I'm into it.
All right. So I think this is the last one. This is more of a comment from Pasta Theory. Atlas, Nintendo Switch, still no mainline Persona. What the hell?
You know, when I was getting the news together, I saw a story in Nintendo Life where some guy who does rumors was saying that Persona 3 Portable is getting like remastered again for console releases. So that's out there. I have no idea of the validity of that or not. I don't know what Nintendo's Life record is with posting rumors, like how loose they are with that. Look, they did finally announce something of substance with the Ultimax, the Persona 4 Arena announcement, which I know isn't what people were hoping for, but it's something. I still think that Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden, they why not? Again, the problem is there could always be the answer to that question because Sega's stupid, and maybe that's the issue here. But let's hold out hope here. Maybe we'll get Persona 3. If we get Persona 3 Portable, then they will absolutely be doing Persona 4 Golden at some point too, and then maybe. Apparently VGC did post about that rumor, so there's some hope. So apparently that's what so in that leaker also mentioned the arena porn earlier. Okay, so this is good. So there is hope for Persona 3 Portable coming to modern platforms, which would include Switch. So let's hold on. Maybe this is all finally happening.
That does it for the Super Chats, Mike. I think we're all caught up on the community.
Yes, and you know what? For next week's topic, let's just get it out of the way because everybody seems to be quite parched. Why don't you just tell us who your Nintendo waifu or husbando is?
I like it.
Let's just do it. Yep. We'll just all embrace it. We'll all hold hands. And we'll jump into that pool together.
All right, it's a cold deep end, but if we all jump in there together, we'll survive.
Now, be tasteful, everyone.
Yeah, right. I don't limit the talk of bodily orifices and things like that. We don't need to get into the mechanics of it.
Yes.
It's about love, people. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yeah. You're clearly not just attracted for these video game characters because of how they look.
Yeah,
that would be a sin.
Kirby, that big mouth. There's Wario. We're already getting answers. Wario, does Bowser count?
Hey, well, guys, don't take a moment. Take a week to think about it.
Don't blow your load so early. God.
Did you have to put it that way?
I did not, but I did anyhow.
Jeff, all right, let's talk about what we've been playing so I can take a shower. After all that,
I've been playing the Analogue Pocket. Analogue Pocket a bunch. We talked about that already. I will say, it is nice to play some cartridge games for once. I'm someone who is all digital, and I really like that, and I'm not really going to go back. But putting Donkey Kong in there and be like, well, that's the game that's in there. That's what I'm playing right now. It is nice to sort of keep me on track of like, I'm actually gonna keep playing that game until I beat it. I did also put Super Mario or Superstar Saga in there and was playing that when I needed a Game Boy Advance game and stuff. So those are what I've been playing just because I've been testing the Analog Pocket a lot. And yeah, I'm probably gonna stick with both of those for a little bit until I beat them.
The two games I was most jealous watching you play, like that I really want to play right now. One with Donkey Kong 94, which we talk about a lot, how amazing that is.
Yes,
it's something we should just do like a playthrough of it together or something.
And that cartridge is a really attractive cartridge. So I'm really glad I have it because I love the way it looks. It's just such a good looking piece of plastic.
Mm-hmm. And then sorry, I got distracted by chat. What was I just talking about?
You were saying the two games that you were jealous.
And the other one was, sorry, there was a chat that was deleted. I was like, what did they say? Then I read it, and I was like, anyways, the other one was Wario Land 4. I really would like to play Wario Land 4 right now.
Right, yes. That game is very... I mean, all the Wario Lands are great, but Wario Land 4 is like a standout. Like, oh yeah, they just kept making those games better and better looking, and Wario was a great character in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I did beat KOTOR, so I did that. Which was again such a surprise to me when I started playing that because I got a code when they released that port on Switch. I was like, this will be fun to do, and then I was like, what is like the best build to do? And then I just had so much fun like trying to do that I just ended up beating that game again. And usually I'm not somebody who replays RPGs even when I love them because there's just so many RPGs out there. Oh, look, you got your cartridge right there. Very nice.
Yeah, just showing off. Not trying to interrupt. Yeah. Keep going.
Oh, you try to steal my thunder, absolutely. But you're an asshole, and I don't expect any less from you. But
so talk about your old game. I don't care. You're old, but not as good as Donkey Kong.
Old game.
Not as good as Donkey Kong.
Pulling up a game from 1994.
I messed up. Shut up, Mike. Just keep talking.
Oh gosh. Anyways, that's the Arc Cyrus's punishment for messing me up. Now I'm not gonna play Shin Megami Tensei 5, Nick Turbo. You know what? I'll just say it. I don't know. No, I like it. I don't know. Because part of me is like, what am I going to play now? And I could go back to Shin Megami Tensei 5. I kind of don't want to, but I don't know what else I'm going to play. We'll see. So, but the most interesting thing about playing KOTOR is seeing the things that I wonder what they're going to change in the remake.
Absolutely. What do you think they're going to change?
Party parity, for one thing. So the Jedi become so much more powerful than everybody else.
Right.
And they will absolutely fix that, which will be interesting. Also, just giving the party members more to do, more instances to interact with each other, maybe more missions that are about them. Like in the game itself, it's so often it's basically just Karth and Bastila are really the only two characters that also the story also seems to acknowledge in meaningful ways outside of when you first beat them, like with all the other characters. So that'll be interesting. I also expect the combat is going to be much less dice rolly, like super D&D based, and I said that earlier. Also, the other thing is just the kind of reverse difficulty curve, which is it's a problem in RPGs in general, especially in Western ones I see, where because so much of the game is about getting all these powers and stuff, that early on is when the game is difficult, right? When for a lot of games, like when you start, it's easy. But like the first planet in KOTOR, even if I didn't do the weird thing I was doing where I wasn't living up, that's pretty difficult because you don't have Jedi powers. Mm-hmm. You don't just have a spell that heals you, right? You are actually using med packs and all this stuff. And in some ways, it can almost be more fun and more interesting because you are like being really clever about your abilities and you're probably using more strategy compared to the end of the game where you just kind of walk in, you use, the Force Lightning or the Force Choke and you kill everything relatively easy. They do bump it back up a little bit at the very last section where you're just being bombarded by waves of enemies, so you get a little bit of a challenge again. But I do expect we will see a more consistent difficulty curve next time around where some of those Jedi powers that you get aren't just going to be so strong that you can just kind of spam them. But again, like that's part of the fun. Really, though, is that you do just become a super strong, all-powerful Jedi by the game, and you actually do feel that. So I don't know if that's the way to go. It's weird because, like, video game logic says that that's bad, right? Like, games should start easier and get harder and harder and harder. But in terms of being a Jedi, that kind of makes sense. Life should be harder before you're a Jedi, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. I would just probably like want them to find interesting ways to use the Jedi so you could be creative and like use those powers. Maybe not harder, but more creative way or more opportunities for being creative. I don't know. KOTOR 2, if they were to port it to the Switch, would you play it there or would you maybe like wait for the Steam Deck and mod it and play it there?
I would only play the Switch version if it was like a remaster where they added back in that ending. Because otherwise, if I'm going to go through all the trouble of playing KOTOR 2, I want to see that cut ending that has been modded back into the game. So I would just do it on probably the Steam Deck. I'd probably wait for the Steam Deck, and I think I even own it already on Steam. Like, of course I do. At some point it was on sale. I think actually I thought about playing it back when the Steam machines were a thing. Like I was going to play it on my Steam machine, but it was just kind of awkward and weird trying to get the controllers to work and trying to get a setup that works and all that stuff. And I imagine for the Steam Deck, it'll work pretty
a lot of that stuff has improved since then. Controller support on Steam has gotten way better.
I super want to play KOTOR 2 because, I know a lot of people like that one a lot. Some people say it's better than one in a lot of ways. So I'd be very curious to try it out, but I am waiting for something to happen there. All right.
Yeah, I got nothing else, Mike. So I'm ready to wrap up if you are.
Yes, I do believe that I am. That was some fun stuff here. I still feel I'm not too tired yet. Clearly, I was losing it a little bit there at the end of the show. I feel like I had to take several long pauses to fight off sleep.
I fell asleep in the parking lot waiting to get chicken for my kids last night. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, we got karate to look forward to. Thanks to you for listening to Last of Nintendogs, everybody. You can find more of me at Twitter at twitter.com/Tokyoto. Check out the 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing the Indie World live 9 a.m. Pacific, and then Friday we'll do GamesBeat Decides. Jeff, what's up?
I'm Jeff Grubb. Listen to GamesBeat Decides. I got access to Crossfire X. I think I could say that by now. And I'll be talking about that on GamesBeat Decides if I get a chance to actually play it. I've been busy with other stuff. So tune in for that. I don't know. Otherwise, we'll be back with another new episode of this next week. I think I have a How Games Make Money going up soon. So, all right, we'll get out of here. Bye, everybody.
See you tomorrow. Bye.